big move from Ukrainians, guys, because a special unit breaks into Russian defended village, liberates it, and forces Russians to victoriously retreat. As a result of this, Ukrainians started advancing closer to another major city in the south and is only 83 kilometers away from Crimea. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. And let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. So, you probably already know about these battle Babushkas, who are always so supportive of Putin while hating the West so much. So recently the Russian currency ruble passed more than 100 rubles for $1, which to be honest is a lot, because I still remember the times when it was a little bit under 30. But doesn't matter. So Russian propaganda started saying, well, in fact this is a good thing for Russia, because we are not reliant on this Western military equipment or services or goods. We are an independent country, we do not care about the currency exchange, and in fact Russian people are very happy. And so yes, as expected, one of the first propagandists to react to this event were once again these battle Babushkas, who were destroying American currency. So by the way, it is not allowed to destroy national currency or even show the process on YouTube, so that's why I only have this screenshot from a video, and they were basically saying things like you would expect. Russia is the greatest, Putin overpowered everyone, and the West is going to be completely terminated. So I will leave it up to them to be passive-aggressive, because today is a very happy day. Today is my birthday. And I want to first of all thank you all so much for watching my videos for so long already, more than 1 year. And if you don't mind me asking for a small present from you, can you please just only like this video and subscribe to my channel? This will be more than enough, trust me. And for those of you still watching, I have a gift for you as well. These extremely cool extra wallets, which I'll be giving away completely for free on my Instagram page. And all you need to do in order to win one of these 4 wallets is to simply follow me on Instagram. That's it. In addition to that, I will also send the winners a handwritten note. And the link to my Instagram is down below. Right, and now let me give you literally just a couple of words about the Western military support to Ukraine and a very funny response by Russians. And then we'll talk about update from the east and south of Ukraine, where there's a finally long-awaited progress by Ukrainians. And first of all, as you can see from this video, Poland is creating a 35 kilometers wide protection zone from the potential invasion from Belarus, most likely from the soldiers from Wagner or even Belarusian soldiers. Then we have the statement from the Ministry of Defense of the United Kingdom, which basically claims that Ukrainian medics are being trained by British personnel how to save lives under enemy's fire, which is a crucial thing on the front lines. Next we have the country of Norway, which is pledging anti-drone guns called Cortex Typhoon, which to be honest are a very recent development and are extremely effective. The next country on our list is the United States of America, and the Pentagon pledged another $200 million support package to Ukraine, which will include Javelin, Patriot and HIMARS missiles, in addition to another ammunition. And well, what is the response by Russians? So, recently they have that exhibition of the super developments of the Russian military sector, and they presented this protection, I guess, from missiles and drones, which can be installed on armored vehicles, which to be honest does not look very effective. And I can only guess how many more billions dollars were stolen from, invested from the Russian budget in order to develop this. And as soon as this thing proves itself completely useless on the front lines, you can only imagine that the main headquarters engineers will be sent straight to jail. But okay. Now as promised, let's go to the east of Ukraine before moving to the south. But first of all, we just have to make a stop in the capital of Russia, Moscow, where recently one of its districts was again spontaneously got caught on fire. Then we refer to the report by the Institute for the Study of War, which claims both Russians and Ukrainians attempted to advance along Kupiansk-Svatove-Crimea front line, with neither of the sides making any significant gains, except, unfortunately, Russia. If we go closer to Kupiansk, we can see that they got a little bit closer to the actual front lines. And as we move down, specifically closer to Crimea, Ukrainians reportedly were able to destroy an assault group of Russians, along with their armored vehicle next to Dnipro. Moving more to the south, Ukrainians also reportedly destroyed a command post of Russians, along with their assault group using HIMARS, which was located to the east of Verkhnokamenka. And then we have a video which has been recorded allegedly to the north of Solidar front lines, and as you can see right here, President of Ukraine Vladimir Zelensky visited his troops. I mean, just imagine Putin even setting a foot in Ukraine. Next we go to Bakhmut, where Ukrainians reportedly destroyed another attack helicopter of Russians called K-52. And speaking about Bakhmut, right here we have yet another video of extremely close combat footage, where Ukrainians are advancing and clearing the trenches from those Russians who do not want to surrender. If you've never seen this type of combat activities, which are, to be honest, just really incredible, you just please go ahead and watch it on my Patreon. Unfortunately, the full version cannot be shown on YouTube, that is why it is on my Patreon. Link is down below, there's still 1 week of free access. Besides that, a heavy fighting has been reported next to Klishchiivka, where Russians even tried to do the offensive, which has been successfully repelled by Ukrainians, and then Ukrainians almost immediately initiated their own counter-offensive. And as of right now, as you can see from this map, this town is unfortunately still temporarily occupied by Russians. Well, now as promised, let's go to the south of Ukraine and let me give you a similar quick update. And first of all, I have to mention this very controversial event, because Russians stopped a civilian ship in the Black Sea area called Sukra Okran. And they were basically saying that, yes, from now on we're gonna be stopping every single ship in the Black Sea, because it will be transporting military weapons to Ukrainians, and we don't want this to happen, so just look at us, we're gonna inspect every single vessel and you cannot stop us. They even landed a helicopter on the board of this ship, and they found nothing against civilian goods, and pretty much there was nothing military related. So Russians are like, well, okay, so yeah, civilian ships also exist, sorry about that. And speaking more about the Black Sea area, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine shared us with this video compilation of Ukrainian marine drones attacking Russian ships and other vessels. Some of these attacks obviously were successful. And well, the response of Russians is, as you would imagine, is to attack civilian areas. So it happened first of all in Odessa, where several Russian missiles and drones were intercepted above the city, and the debris destroyed a local mall called Fuzzy. And then even more attacks happened against civilian areas and residential buildings in Zaporozhye. And in response to that, Ukrainians allegedly targeted a position of Russian forces located in Mariupol, as you can see from this picture. But most importantly is that right now there are even more successful raids by Ukrainians who are attempting to cross Dnipro river in the future possibility to liberate the left side of Kherson region. As you can see from this map, one of the most recent successful such raids happened when Ukrainians were able to pretty much land to the west of Kozachyi Lagery, and then they even started pushing deeper into Kherson region, facing Russian artillery fire. And even though it is extremely complicated to cross such big obstacles as the entire rivers, it is now assumed that at least a small part of Ukrainians already gained a foothold on the other side of Dnipro, which is massive. And at this very moment it is estimated that there are only 82 to 83 kilometers away from Crimean border. But you know what, it is not only Ukrainians who try to send their assault groups across Dnipro river, Russians also attempting to do some cross-river raids. But, as you can see from this video, only one Ukrainian drone was enough to completely repel this attack, leaving no chances to invaders. But wait, there is more! Because a Ukrainian special unit, along with just regular conventional forces, artillery and heavy machinery, was able to finally liberate a key city along Zaporozhye-Donetsk front lines, and the city I'm talking about here is located to the east of Staromayorsky, Urozhaine, and as you can see from this map, it is already confirmed that yes, the city is mostly liberated, with the front line and Russians being pushed away far from it. We even have this video of Russian soldiers literally running as fast as they can away from Urozhaine, but Ukrainians do not leave chances to them as well, using against them cluster ammunition, which as you can see from this video is extremely effective. And yep, the full video is also on my Patreon. And some of you might ask why this city or this particular direction is so important. Well, check this out. Originally, and the first priority of this specific front line is to go towards Berdyansk, very major city that Russians now control, which will allow Ukrainians to put their HIMARS and other long-range missiles, which will allow them even to target as distant targets as Crimean Peninsula and Crimean Bridge. The second potential direction in case Ukrainians will be able to breach Russian defenses in this front line will be potentially Mariupol. You already, if you've been following this war since the beginning, know the significance of this particular city. And finally, liberating settlements in this area will put Ukrainians extremely close to Vuhledar and other key cities already in Donetsk region, including Donetsk itself. And these are the territories which have been occupied by Russians even before the invasion in 2022, which basically means losing them will create an extremely big problem for Putin's regime. And even though this might not sound like a lot, even the Western media and military experts acknowledge that Ukrainians achieved a finally significant progress in the south, advancing approximately 16 to 19 kilometers in the last week alone, and the reason why it is so significant I pretty much just mentioned. It opens many different directions for the future Ukrainian counteroffensive. Because, I mean, remember, in the past, whenever Ukrainians were liberating Kharkov region and Kherson region, do you even remember these small cities on the way of Ukrainians, which led to the total liberation of these huge areas? I'm sure many of you cannot even remember these names of small settlements, but it all ended up with Ukrainians liberating massive territories. And so right here we might potentially see the similar outcome, because Ukrainians will be taking one by one these small settlements, and eventually it will end up with big liberations. And most likely, just like in the past, this will happen within the matter of just a couple of weeks, and I will make sure to be one of the first ones to report on this event, so if you don't want to miss it, just please consider subscribing to my channel. The early access to these daily episodes, hundreds of uncensored footage, and just overall the best way to support the channel is through my Patreon. You can also unlock channel perks and become my channel member, or simply use a PayPal link, everything can be found to the right and down below. Thank you so much for your attention, товарищи. Please follow me on Instagram for the giveaway details. Beware there are scammers in the comments, and see you tomorrow.